This is different, Rowan. That's why I talk about it, right? Which is people who don't consume it in its original form find a clip of it that gets dibber-dobbered up through the system until eventually it becomes some level of an outrage where they decide to turn around and issue a strike on your contract. This is actually a broader conversation than just Alan Jones. So I'd be more than happy for the bottom of this conversation to disappear on the bottom of this screen. But what do you think, Rowan?
No, look, I agree 100% with your editorial there, Paul, but I just want to talk about the stupidity. There's two lots of stupidity in this whole story. The first stupidity is anyone who listened to Alan Jones's comments and didn't understand that he was using the expression, famous Australian expression, common expression, put a sock in it, which is an expression to tell someone to be quiet, you've said your bit, whatever. Anyone who genuinely thought that he was being threatening or intimidating towards Jacinda Ardern seriously is stupid. And of course they don't think that. As you rightly said in your editorial, this is deliberately beaten up and frothed up to make it look like he was doing something which he clearly wasn't. And shame on the project and others for it going along with this narrative. Alan Jones is a terrific broadcaster, hugely popular, talks an awful lot of common sense. If you listen to what he was talking about, the fact that New Zealand has no right to lecture Australia on carbon emissions, he was making very, very sound points. And the fact that Scott Morrison was wandering around looking at little kids sitting in toddling pools up to here to make it look as if the islands were sinking or whatever, Scott Morrison needed to be told, you have to stand up to this sort of bullying that's going on at the Pacific Forum. So what Alan Jones said was perfectly respectable if you assume, which you have to if you speak the English language, that he was using the colloquial expression, put a sock in it, to say, enough of that debate. The second stupidity is the sponsors who have pulled their funds from his from his radio show. And the reason they are stupid, Paul, is, and I won't go into the specific companies, but when the people who are complaining about Alan Jones, it's highly unlikely that they're in the market, that they're the audience for these products. Any advertiser places their ads on a program where they want to reach a specific audience for a specific price at a specific time, etc., etc. The people who make these decisions and book these things will have decided that Alan Jones' show was the right place to sell those products. By definition, the Twitter mob that Janine referred to, the little echo chamber in wherever, sitting around in their bedsits in Newtown or Marrickville firing off these tweets, they are not the target audience for these companies. So all these companies have done, they've shot themselves in the foot, they've got negative publicity for the people who would buy their product and do buy their product, and they've got massive virtue signalling woke brownie points from people who will never go anywhere near them. So lose-lose, stupid people, stupid sponsors, and stupid people who thought Alan Jones was saying anything that was anything other than colloquial.
But see, Janine, I mean, and again, right, which is, look, we'll move on to the news of the day in a second, right? But
colloquial. He used the word stupid a lot there, didn't he? Stupid. They're stupid, the sponsors are stupid, people are stupid, everyone's stupid. Except for Rowan Dean. All-wise Rowan Dean. You know, what he said there about the toddlers sitting in the pools, the little bathing pools, to make it look like the islands are sinking, that's what I mean when I talk about lack of empathy. Far-right conservative Christians, like Rowan Dean, conservatives. It doesn't really matter if they're Christians or Muslims or Hindus or Buddhists or atheists. It doesn't really matter. Social conservatives. People like Rowan Dean, climate change denier number one in Australia that I know of. What he said there shows really clearly the lack of empathy that people with his mentality have. It doesn't really matter what you want to call them. You don't have to call them anything. But conservative, social conservatives, is essentially what they are. Christian, you could probably drop that word, because I've heard a lot of these people lately come out and say, oh, we're not actually Christian, including Andrew Bolt. And Alan Jones said the same thing. So they're not Christian, but they embrace social conservative values for whatever reason. Today's Tuesday the 20th. If the town of Jacksonville in Florida was populated only with people like Rowan Dean, I probably wouldn't be making this video. I'd be like, there's no point, no need. No need. Because what I think is actually connected to something spiritual. Spiritual. 6 days, 22 hours, 45 minutes. That's how long it is since Steamboat Geyser last erupted in Wyoming. Wyoming in the USA. It's the 10th biggest state in the USA. But it's got a very low population because it's got a lot of mountains and it's got a lot of geysers. Impermanent features. They spurt water in the air, hot water and steam. This is the tallest in the world. New Zealand? Yes, New Zealand used to have the world's biggest geyser, but not anymore. A landslide ruined the plumbing on New Zealand's claim to fame. So now the world's tallest shooting geyser is this one. And its last eruption happened at 23 minutes past 2200 hours on the 12th of August. Which was? The 12th of August was Monday. Over a week ago. And that's why it says 6 days, 22 hours, 46 minutes. Hey, shouldn't it be more than that? If it's over a week ago? Well, yeah, it should be actually. Except I'm in Australia. 16 hours ahead of Wyoming. So that makes a difference when you're calculating the days and hours. A difference of 16 hours to be exact. So, something I do is I add up the value of words. It's just a little hobby. Some people do crosswords. Some people do puzzles. I do this thing where I add up the value of a word. So I change the letters to numbers. Each letter, I replace it with its corresponding number in the alphabet. And the word eruption adds up to 118. So when I look at 11.8 in Canberra, I see eruption. Because I know the word eruption equals 118. And when I look at 28, I see man. Because I know man equals 28, M-A-N. And when I see 59, I see dragon, because I know dragon equals 59. A dragon man eruption. So I see things a little bit differently for that reason. Face is 15. Face dragon man eruption. Gabriel is an angel. Gabriel. So I don't get these people who are all for conservative values, social values, whether Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or atheist. I don't get them, because the olden days weren't that good. Do you know what I mean? They weren't that good. And the current days, the modern days, aren't that good either in some places, like Singapore. Yi Ming Yuan, a former British DJ, is in jail in Singapore. And I hear Rowan Dean often talking about when people in Islamic countries are being flogged, caned, beaten. He mentions it. He says, oh, well, this is disgusting. These people are extremists. Well, they are. And I agree with him on that. It is disgusting, and they are extremists. And they execute people, and they torture people. But he never mentions Singapore. Because Singapore is mostly mostly Muslim, mostly Buddhist. Mostly Buddhist. And then the next largest group is Christian. And then the next largest group is Muslim. So he never mentions that. Country. And the way it flogs people. Canes them. So hard, the scars last forever. For the rest of your life. I mentioned Jackson, right? Jackson in Florida. No, I mentioned Jacksonville in Florida. Jacksonville. But it's funny because Jacksonville was named after a guy named Jackson. Andrew Jackson. And the name Andrew Jackson has a value of 138. As does the name Yi Ming Yuan, the former DJ from England, who was recently sentenced to 24 strokes of the Cat 5 cane and 20 years jail in Singapore for drug trafficking. Conservative social values are embraced 100% by the government of Singapore. Are they Christian? Are they Buddhist? Are they Muslim? Don't know. I don't care. They are conservatives. And they are conservatives who like to cane people so hard that the wounds take anywhere from a week to a month to heal. Yeah, a week to a month for the wounds to heal. Depending how many strokes you get. And you know what I find really disturbing? There's a lot of things I find disturbing. If Jacksonville in Florida, DJ Ming is from London, he's British by birth, but his mum is Singaporean, his dad is Chinese by blood. 4:16 is the time in London. It's Tuesday the 20th of August 2019. Well, there's a lot of things I find disturbing in this world today and in the world of yesterday. In fact, the world of yesterday, there were people being flogged in England and everywhere that the British Empire had spread, people were being caned and flogged. And actually, caning was introduced to Singapore by Great Britain. The seat, the origin of, if you're a conservative Christian, well, do you know what I mean? Yesterday wasn't so good. That's why I don't get the whole, let's go back to what works, what we know works. It didn't work. For an awful lot of people, it was hell. Hell equals 37. The word hell has a value of 37. Hell, dragon, 59. And cruel is 59. Cruel. They are very cruel. Some people are extraordinarily cruel. And I don't see what's nice about ignoring climate change either. When it is having an impact on people's lives. People's lives are being ruined. A little bit. A little bit. People's lives are being ruined a little bit by climate change. Or some might say they're being ruined a lot. But it's like comparing today to yesterday. And then you have to think about tomorrow. What is bad? Everything's in context. Look how dry Australia is. There's no rain. There is literally nothing. It's just dry as a bone. Dry as a bone that's been left out in the sun. Oh, they're not even bothering with radars anymore. There's no rain anyway. Sydney. This is Wollongong. There's nothing. There is literally nothing. And it's just going on and on. But I'm not here to talk about drought. I could be, but I'm not. I mean, I might. I could change my mind and I could talk about the drought instead. but I won't. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the light. Punishment is 139. There you go. The word punishment has a value of 139. Angel is 39. And Gabriel is 54. Gabriel has the same value as love. Love. Survivor is 144. Survivor. 13 was Nathan's age, but he was not a survivor. He died in the Black Saturday firestorms. They took him. The fire demons took him away. So some people, after that happened in 2009, thought, well, let's embrace climate change denial as a political movement. Because there's votes in it, I guess that's why. Because you've got to be seriously really stupid if you think climate change is not happening in 2019. You've got to be seriously dumb. Like really seriously dumb and stupid. And what does stupid mean? Well, it means a different thing to different people. Some people would say, this video is stupid. 6 days, 22 hours, 57 minutes, because I'm talking about a stupid geezer, let's say. Why are you talking about some stupid geezer for? 6 days, 22 hours, 57 minutes, since Steamboat last went off. Well, it's because I had a dream. I had a dream about Yiming Yuan a couple of nights ago. It was after I filmed the gum trees thrashing around in the wind. The blue gums, the Tassie blue gums, were thrashing around in the wind after I mentioned Gabriel, the angel. And I said Gabriel, the angel, has a warning for Jacksonville in Florida. And it's connected to what happened to a man in Singapore. His experience is going to be reflected in a hurricane named Gabrielle, a monster that has taken the name of an angel of God, just like authorities that torture people. A reflection of cruelty, a reflection of something that you would think would be good because it's the authority, or it's the name of an authority, it's the name of an archangel, almost, except it's not. Michael was the name of the archangel, but the hurricane that took the name Michael was anything but an angel. It was a monster, a destroyer of lives. 11/22. Jake was 11 and he died on the 22nd. And the 22nd is coming up in a couple of days. So it's 22 past 11 in Singapore and it's 22 past 1 here in Australia. Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane even. Because there's no daylight saving anywhere at this time of year. In Australia. Not in Australia, but there is in Wyoming. If we go to Wyoming, what is the time? It's not even today yet. It's not even today in Wyoming. It's still yesterday. It's 9:22. 9:22 is 1:22. That actually connects to what I'm about to tell you. But it's a reflection. It's going to be 9 and 1 o'clock. 9 and 1 is going to be the time when Steamboat Geezer gives a sign for Jacksonville in Florida. Jacksonville, named after Andrew Jackson. Jackson is a place in Wyoming. It's not far from Steamboat Geezer. Of all the places in Wyoming that are listed on here at least, Jacksonville is the closest to Steamboat Geezer that I've been able to see anyway. For example, Wamsutter is down the bottom of the state, and so are most of the places on here. Steamboat Geezer's up the top of the state, up in the top northwest corner. At least I remember seeing that sometime. Mountain Daylight Time. Mountain Daylight Time is Wyoming time. Jacksonville and Jackson. By the way, Sutter is the surname of the adoptive mother of the twins, Daniel and Samuel, in Red Rain by R.L. Stine. It's a novel. The Goosebumps author wrote a novel for adults with 12-year-old protagonists. Nathan was born on the 24th of the 11th, the 24th of November, 1995. Nathan's strongly connected to this somehow. I've been feeling that all along. So is Yiming Yuan. Yiming Yuan from London, former DJ. Former DJ. Kiwi Street. Jake Whiteling lived on Kiwi Street. His parents still live on Kiwi Street. Climate change, denial. Alan Jones is a bit of a denier, I guess. A bit of a denier, has been for a while. I haven't really understood the whole climate change denial thing. I understand people having reservations about how fast we transition to renewables and all that. But denying the science on climate change, I've never understood that. I just don't get it. I never have got it. It's like, well, are you actually stupid enough to believe it's not happening? Because if you are, well, that's pretty sad. 6 days, 23 hours and 2 minutes. You know what name has a value of 55? Santa. And if you rearrange those letters, you get Satan, 55. Kinky Boy is 112. But maybe he doesn't want me to tell you that, so it just went up to 113. The value of prediction is 113. Spanking is 91. I said it's going to be 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Spanking o'clock. 37 minutes past the hour. It's going to be 37 minutes past 1. That's what the time will be. Or if you're in Minnesota, it will be 2:32. 2:32. Yeah, how does that work? It's a little weird. Jacob Erwin Wetterling equals 233. A reflection here, 322. 233 and 322. The beehive and the steamboat. You see, I said the number that is the value of Kinglake West. Kinglake West is 137. Kinglake West is 137, and I had just said that. Now we've got 147. The value of my name. Bad Mirror Boy, 140. Bad Mirror Boy. And my name, 13, Nathan's age. I had just said Kinglake West equals 137, and a bee landed on my hand right after I said it. So that was a few months ago. I'd have to dig back to find the video. I was filming. I've got it on video. The bee landed on my hand right when I said 137. I said Kinglake West equals 137. So I think the time is going to be 1:37 a.m. in Australia, like I said. It's coming up soon. 1:37 will be soon. But the time in let me think about this. Let me see what the time is now. I'm not sure if I've worked it out right. I think I have. Because it's 11:28 p.m. now. in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah. So AM is AM and PM is PM. So it's going to be... Sorry, I'm just thinking aloud, making sure I worked it out right. I did work it out right. So the time is going to be 1:37 AM in Australia. So, like I said, a reflection of the current time, because it's now PM. But it's going to be 1:37 AM where I live, and it's going to be 9:37. Let's go back to Wyoming. It's going to be 9:37 in Wyoming, and it is 9 o'clock. It's after 9 o'clock now in Wyoming. It's 9:29. There we go. And it's PM. So it's going to be 9:29 AM in Wyoming. That's what I've been saying, and I was just thinking, wait a minute, is that actually right? Yeah, it's right. Don't doubt your mathematics abilities, my friend. Monday, 19th of August, 2019. Mountain Daylight Time. So that's today. In Wyoming, it's yesterday, if you're where I am. It's the day our bore is being drilled. So the point is, when it's 9:30 PM in Wyoming, it's 1:30 PM in Australia, but the dates are different. And so it will be the same come September 5 and 6. That's when the warning sign is going to happen from Steamboat Geyser. It's going to be 9:37 in Wyoming. But it's not going to be PM. It's going to be AM. And it's going to be 1:37 in Australia. 1:37 AM. Not PM. Kinglake West equals 1:37. And 173 people died in that disaster. That's what I said. And the bee landed on my hand exactly as I said. 137. That's how I know. Bees are oracular. They can be. I mean, they can be oracular, but they aren't always. Like every time you see a bee, you can't assume that it's an oracle for something. Otherwise you'd go a bit loopy come springtime. But this was in the sort of late in autumn, early winter. It's when you don't expect a bee to come and land on your hand. Not really. 37. It's going to be 37 past. It's the value of the word bulb, like a daffodil bulb, B-U-L-B. And that's what it is. Bulb is the clue, even though it was a bee that landed on my hand. I had just said 137. So it's going to be 37 minutes past, which also just happens to be the value of MDT, Mountain Daylight Time. MDT has a value of 37. And now I'm sure there's lots of people out there saying, man, this is the most stupid video I've ever seen. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I can see why you might say that, even if you're a smart person. But you don't know what I know. And you don't see what I see. Apart from Alan Jones and some weird kid who went and killed people in Canada. I see something about a guy whose name is... What should we put in? Put his name? We should put his name. And we might find him. Yi Ming Yuan. Okay, that's him. If you Google this, you'll find him. And you'll find the way the media presents his case, his fate. Some of them almost make it sound like it's something a bit kinky or something. But it's really not kinky. It's he's got no choice about this. He's being strapped to a big trestle. And it's probably already happened, but how do I know what's happened? Because there's no information since January. Look at all these news stories. They all go back to January. All of them do. There's one from February, I think. So I thought, well, what is it? Like, about this guy? Why do Jake and Nathan like this guy so much that they are telling me there's a reflection coming? What they did to this guy in Singapore is going to be reflected in a hurricane named Gabriel, the monster that has stolen the name of the angel. A disguise. Monsters disguise themselves. They always do. $37. The sign's coming at 37 past. He went to a £37,000 per year Westminster school. 20 years jail. And I was a little taken aback because when I started reading the comments that people have written about this, I couldn't find many, well actually I couldn't find any comments by people who were sympathetic. They were all people saying, oh well, serves him right. That's what you get. You break the law. This is what you get. And I was like, I don't know, for some reason it's frozen. Probably in shock. Kane equals 23. Kane. 6 days, 23 hours, 12 minutes. So, an eruption of Steamboat Geyser is coming like soon. Daniel and Samuel. 135 is the value of Daniel and Samuel. The twins in Red Rain. They enjoy torturing people, killing people. Power, having power over people. That's basically the essence of it, isn't it? People who enjoy having total power over another human being. Sometimes they're like criminals. And sometimes they're like people that work for government and judiciary. Sometimes these people infiltrate. They worm their way into things where they know they can have power over people. Bulb, 37, has the same value as hell. Hell is 37. Gabriel, 54, has the same value as love. Yiming Yuan has a lot of love in his heart. That's why Jake Knight likes him. Jake and Nathan. That's why they like him. He's loving. He's naughty. They don't mind that. They don't mind naughty. They like loving. They really like the loving part of it. They really like that. Who's loving, who's not loving in this? Let's get out of here. The 5-pointed star is on the Singapore flag as well. It doesn't want to open that one. Let's try this one. I don't know which ones I've read, which ones I haven't. I know I've read this one. This was in The Guardian. Yeah, so this goes back, like all the other stories, to January 2019. Has he been flogged? Don't know. I assume so. I don't think they would have decided to go easy on him. And that's bad news. It's bad news for Jacksonville. Because for some reason, there's going to be a reflection in the weather with a hurricane that is going to be the same intensity as the caning that they dished out to this man. Cat 5. Cat 5 intensity. Caning. Extreme caning. Is it going to be deadly? I think it is, yes. Did Yiming Yuan die? I don't think so. But the hurricane is deadly. Sadistic. And why do I know this? Well, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's just one of those things. Yi Ming Yuan, is it going to come up easy? Yes. I just want to try another one. They're all similar, I think. I just want to look at the ones I've already looked at, just to jolt my memory. I kind of knew very soon after I found this that Gabriel's going to be a horror of a hurricane. DJ. The DJ. See, Nathan was born on the 24th, I already mentioned that. Nathan, the boy from Australia. The boy who died in the firestorm. 13-year-old Nathan Breeze. The Dark Tower equals 148. Bad Mirror Boy, 140. Australian, 116. Bulb is 37, like a daffodil bulb. Powerful, 116. Hurricanes, 116. Gabriel, the name of the angel, 54. The wind speed right now in Hobart is 54 kilometers an hour. Such a stupid video. People are saying, oh my god, this is the stupidest video I've ever seen. And I'm like, maybe. Maybe it is. But maybe it's not as stupid as you think. I watched this video. See, the way people treat each other somehow is mirrored. We live in a universe of reflections. Am I comparing Jacksonville to Yi Ming Yuan to his butt? No, I'm not. Except I am. Because what happened to Yi Ming Yuan, what happened to his butt, is what's going to happen to Jacksonville. Because Gabriel is going to reflect. 4 feet long. Yeah, it's going to reflect. Gabriel is going to reflect what the authorities in Singapore did to Yi Ming Yuan. What else do you want to know? What else do you need to know? If you live in Jacksonville, in Florida, you should be afraid. As I'm sure Yi Ming Yuan was very afraid on the day that it probably happened, although in this world where governments can kidnap people, abduct them into darkness and torture them, it's a bit hard to know. Because we're like in the dark. I'm in the dark. Yi Ming Yuan's in the dark. Do you know what I mean? We're all in the dark on what Singapore did to him. There's no information. He's in the dark, in more ways than one. So we don't know really what the reflection's going to be. We're not going to know till it comes. Just like he didn't know what the caning was going to be like until it came. But did it come? And did it come as 24 strokes, or did it get reduced? He appealed, he requested that his sentence be reduced. He pointed out that child rapists and murderers usually don't get sentenced to more than 15 strokes. So I'm guessing he was a little mystified. Why was I sentenced to 24 strokes? Essentially a peace-loving guy, a peaceful guy, someone who liked to move people with music. He's a DJ. So how does the world thank him for his DJing? How does this world thank him for the fact that he liked to move people with music? How is the world responding to what happened to him? To his abduction? 20 years jail is not justice. It's abduction by government. they're talking about people pulling sponsorship in relation to Alan Jones. It's kind of weird because, you know, like I said, I can't find a single comment that is supporting this guy. Maybe there's one there. No, sarcasm, see? Lol, sarcasm. Mocking him. They mocked Jesus too when he was flogged and crucified. They mocked him as the king of the Jews. Jesus was not actually Jesus, you know. He was Joshua. His name started with a J. Drugs that harm Singaporeans. He was a drug addict himself. Yeah, I'm a little... Yeah, I've thought about that too. A spoilt, rich public school boy. Yeah, he's not rich. You see, his father was a businessman. His father was rich. His father was wealthy. His father regrets caning him as a boy. He's already been caned as a boy. His father regrets it now. His dad regrets caning him because he says, well, I only did it because I was caned as a child myself. So the assumption that he's spoiled, a spoiled rich Asian kid, is a pretty telling thing, I think. It seems like everyone's pretty keen for this guy to get tortured. That's how it seems to me. Just looking at the comments, just reading through what people have written, it seems like a lot of people are pretty keen on this guy getting tortured. And I find that quite revealing about humans in general. So maybe this video is not as stupid as you thought it was at the start when I was talking about numbers and letters and changing things to things. 149 is the value of what? Actually, it's the value of Martin Swain. Martin Swain equals 149. Martin Swain. Jesus Christ is 151. 151. Dragon. Already told you dragon's 59. So is slave. Slave is 59. Jesus Christ is 151. Slave is 51. Angel is 39. Angel 39. Dragon 59. A reflection of torture. Torture that seems to be supported by a lot of people. Singapore has a good relationship with the West. Strangely enough, they have a very good relationship with the West. They even give away holidays to Singapore on Australian radio stations. They give away holidays to Singapore. Okay, we're on a holiday to Singapore. They don't have a little warning on there, you know, that, oh, by the way, if you're homosexual or inclined to use illicit drugs, this is probably not for you. You could end up strapped to a big wooden trestle being caned with a Cat 5 cane. When I say Cat 5 cane, I mean a cane that's travelling at 160 kilometers per hour when it hits you. The scar from that one stroke is going to last for the rest of your life. That's one stroke. They don't sentence people to one stroke. Maybe 3 if you're lucky, for overstaying your visa. By 90 days or more, you might just get 3 strokes of the Cat 5 cane. But how many did Yiming Yuan get? Bad Mirror Boy, 140. How many did he get? Jesus Christ is 151. Holy Spirit is 151. Holy Spirit. I think maybe when monsters disguise themselves as angels, I don't know, but I just have a feeling it's bad. 6 days, 23 hours, 25 minutes since Steamboat last erupted. When's it going to erupt again? Eruption 118. Daniel and Samuel, 137. Those two boys, they enjoy torturing people. But they're just characters in a story, so that's okay. Compared to real life torture. Gabriel, love, 54. Hope is 44. Hope. Hope can be dangerous if it's based on nothing. What hope is there for Yi Ming Yuan? 149. Martin Swain. Martin Swain equals 149. Tuesday the 20th is today. That is today. Revenge is best served through a Bledisloe cup. That's Jacinda Ardern's rebuke to a climate change denier in Australia, one of quite a few. Not everyone on Sky News is a climate change denier, but there's a few there, and there's quite a few elsewhere as well in Australia. And in the United States, they include the President, Mr. Trump. He's a climate change denier. And like I said, if the city of Jacksonville, Florida, was populated by people all the same as Rowan Dean, I wouldn't be making this video. There'd be no point. I wouldn't need to. Because what he said about putting kids in bathing pools to make it look like the sea levels are rising in the Pacific Islands, that's why I'm saying that. Because after hearing him say that, I just think, you know what, I wouldn't waste my time on you. If there was like 1 million people like you, all in Jacksonville, I wouldn't bother warning the city of Jacksonville about Gabrielle. But Jacksonville is like any other place on earth. It's got a whole mix of people there. Some are nice, some are not so nice. Some are lovely people. Some you wouldn't, give the time of day to, just like anywhere else. Tuesday the 20th. It's Monday the 19th in Jacksonville, Florida. Eastern Daylight Time. So we can catch up. That was the clue. We can catch up next Thursday at 1 p.m. I should move along, I guess. Move along. Because I wanted to show you something. Hey, that's interesting. You know the Welsh flag, the dragon tail, has... It's a little tail just like that. It's like an arrow. I was talking about dragons, wasn't I? Yeah, I was. Chinese. Dragon. Dragon. Why was I saying dragon? Oh yeah, Dragon 59. Jesus Christ 151. I don't often hear Jesus called a dragon. I do hear him called a lion sometimes. A lion. He didn't like the witch. Aslan did not like the witch, the queen of Narnia, the White Queen. Because she was a witch. Who had made herself God. 6 days, 23 hours, 29 minutes. So what if it is the 22nd? 22nd is in 2 days. Well, who cares? That's what most people would say. Who cares if Steamboat Giza erupts on the 22nd? Well, I'm sort of with those people. I'm more interested in the 5th. The 5th is Thursday. And the 6th is Friday. 1:37 a.m. Twin bulbs. Twin bulbs equals 122. Angel is 39. Jake is 27. Punishment is 139. Punishment. Torture. Is it the same thing? Bad Mirror Boy, 140. Narcissus, 1, 2, 3. Narcissus is the daffodil. Narcissus. And Firestorm is 1, 2, 3. Firestorm. Cain is 23. Cain. Suffering. Penance. Eruption. 118. Gabriel is 54. Jesus Christ is 151. Holy Spirit 151. Gabriel the angel. Man 28. Eruption 118. I just wanted to show you that because that looks like a witch with a big nose. That's what I reckon. Complete with a hat. Like a really crazy, ugly witch. Do you know what I mean? There's the eye. There's the huge nose. And a hat. A pointy hat. A very ugly witch indeed. But she's dressed herself up as an angel. So people will be like, oh yeah, we don't have to worry about Gabrielle. Gabrielle can't be all that bad. But she turns out to be brutal. Cain, 23. Jacob, 31. Snake is 50. Gabriel, 54. What does it all mean? Who knows? Such a stupid video. They're saying, such a stupid video. Who makes a video this stupid? Well, Yiming Yuan was in my dream the other night. And he was flying a plane after he pushed it along to get it started. And then it flew up in the air. Flew up really high and he was flying high. And I was thinking, man, it doesn't look like a safe plane to be flying that high in. But off he went. No regard for safety. He just liked to have fun. So they strapped him to a wooden trestle and they flogged him. Like he was Satan. Santa and Satan have the same value, 55. Do you know what I mean? The same value. The man in red, the red man. Satan with his red horns, Santa with his red hat. A reflection of torture, demonization of the criminal by the authorities.